Hi everyone, I am Disha Dioxide and you are watching CEO Secrets, what made them successful and how we can make it. Today I am here with Supriya Salian, who is the MD of PLANSEE India. Today we will be talking about her journey and her experiences. What or who was your biggest motivation?
So, Disha, to me, I think motivation is something that needs to come intrinsic. The moment you're driven by something or somebody else, I feel it. Again, I'm telling you, this is my perspective and how I'm driven. It is temporary. Today, you may be motivated by somebody else. When the motivation comes to you from within, and it's for everything. It's not just for working. It's for how fit you want to be, or how you want to take care of your body. Everything, I think you have to feel it from inside for yourself. To a large extent, nobody forces us to do things. You do it for yourself. So motivation for me, I think, is very, very intrinsic. It comes from the fact that, like I was telling you, I enjoy what I do. I get a lot of love from the people that I work with. To me, largely, that is motivation. Motivation for me is the fact that I'm able to learn a lot of different things from the day, from my working day. I'm able to meet a lot of people. I'm able to travel. I'm able to see different cultures. I'm able to interact with different people. With every person you meet and have an interaction, you always learn something new. So that to me is my motivation to work. Have I been inspired? Definitely yes. I mean, I listen to a lot of talks of maybe really a lot of people, and from somebody you learn, okay, how does he or she manage to do this? I would really like to do this. How somebody finds time to spend on a social cause, irrespective of the fact that he or she is very busy. I should think, your dad, once was telling me, honestly, I'm telling you that part of your house, I think a large part of your house, you run on renewable energy, and how do these things come to somebody's mind, and can I learn something from it? Is there something a small step that I can take? These are inspirations that you get from a lot of different people, but motivation to me really is very intrinsic, and it comes from
me. You are your own motivation
within.
What are your personal goals, ma'am?
So honestly, I don't, on every New Year's, I don't make any list of goals that anything that I want to achieve, because then I know it's for the sake of, being on the paper. But what I really like to do is I want to take care of myself, because if I'm not able to take care of myself, I can't give back to anyone. So my goal is to spend at least an hour every day with the physical activity. I mean, I love to go for a walk. That's also a form of meditation for me. I don't listen to any music, nothing. I just
silence and nature
for one and a half hours. And I think we are very blessed in Mysore. My goal is definitely to be able to continue to do that, because it helps me take care of myself and my mind, which to me is really, really important. Professionally, I think today we are going through a phase where India is having extreme importance as a country. It comes from different reasons. It comes probably from all the geopolitical situations that we see that are happening. We see manufacturing moving to India. It comes from the fact of our age demography. We have the largest number of youth. A few years ago, India would be looked at as a low-cost manufacturing company. Today, it's looked at as a consumer, one of the largest consumer markets. It's looked at as a very high-skilled base labor country. And as a manufacturing company, it opens huge opportunities for us. My goal would be really to be able to utilize these opportunities to the utmost, because it also helps us generate a lot of employment. It helps us, do products in India which are not currently manufactured in India, which we rely on to be imported. But today we have opportunities also to do these. And other than that, I love travel. So my goal is to see at least 1 or 2 new places. Let's see if I'm greedy, 2 new places every year. It gives me, and it's not just the place. When I travel,
The people,
the food.
culture.
I love food.
Food is very important.
Really love food, and I mean, all of us as a family, we love food. And the people. So I was the last 3 days. Of course, it was a business travel, but I was in Bhuj, and I would have never imagined otherwise going to Bhuj. But when you talk to the taxi driver and he tells us how we've not had rain for 2 years, and how they live, it really makes you realize how different lives are even within
a country.
in India. It makes you more humble, it makes you more grateful, makes you realize what you have, and maybe somebody else doesn't have. Makes you realize not to complain about small things. So of course there are travel where it's a lot more exotic, or you go just for relaxation. But travel to me, I think, is very important. I would love to see 2 new places every year.
What gets you going every day, ma'am?
To a large extent, it's my connect and interaction with people. When I don't go to the shop floor for a week, and when I go and people tell me, ma'am, you've not come for 1 week, come and show us. I think come and meet us. It gives me a lot of satisfaction. Somebody's thinking of you, somebody likes to meet you. To interact, to learn from each other, to spend time with, this really gives me a lot of joy. And most days that's what keeps me getting up, and I get to learn a lot every day at work. So I'm never bored. So I think that's largely which keeps me going. Having said that, it's not always easy. You get up on days feeling that today I just wish I can lie in bed. I think on such days I take to dressing up, finding a bright color to wear, doing something special in the way I dress up. And I think that then motivates me to still have a smile and come to work. So,
what is the future trend in jobs, and how can we as students prepare for them?
So the way we have seen whether technology advance or just generally the trends moving, it's very difficult for anyone to predict what exactly would be the jobs that are coming in the future. What we should all be aware of in general is what are these trends that will affect us, in general. So just to list a few, I think one is, we all know it's related to technology and AI. So a lot of jobs that may come out would be on these sides, definitely related to AI. But the 4G spectrum, I mean, or whatever is the latest 5G spectrum, or all the digital space and everything that would be needed to keep this up and running. I think this is one area which we all need to look at to see what are the trends and what could be needed for the future. What else? It could be a lot will be linked to the whole ESG thing, so the environmental, social, and governance and all that comes along with the climate change, and recently sustainability. And recently I was reading on of how many jobs will come related to these initiatives that the entire world would be taking. So definitely a trend that we should look at and and be aware of. Other than that, I think the geopolitical situations and how this will impact, or a knowledge of the political systems and what is happening and how it can affect or impact each country. Earlier when I used to be traveling or meeting a customer, it would be enough for me if I know what's happening in India. Today, it's no more enough. I need to know what's happening in China, what's happening in US, what are the inflation rates in Europe, what is, how is recession affecting Germany, how is the war affecting Germany. So there's a lot of globalization, and the world is linked together a lot more today than it was in the past. So knowing what's happening everywhere in the world and not just restricting to what we are doing, I think is really, really important for everybody, especially as students. Apart from that, I think the softer skills is something that we realized during COVID, how much elderly care or medicine, there are some parts which probably can be taken over by AI, but the things where you still need human interaction, I think these are something, the trends that we should look at. In terms of skills, I think it's very difficult to tell, specifically if it's a technical, it's like programming language. By the time you learn something, it's already outdated.
Yes.
To me, what's important for students to know is that at any point you should be able to learn something new. So to develop yourself, to be able to learn something new all the time and keep updating yourself, I think is really, really important.
Could you give three tips to students who aspire to become successful like you, ma'am?
Again, I'll come back. Success means very different things to very different people. So if you really say successful to like me or to what success means to me, I think one would be, like I was just telling you, the ability to be able to learn and unlearn and learn and unlearn constantly. Even today, I am exposed to new technologies, new markets, which are very new to what I have learned in the past, and I have to be able to look up articles, read, comprehend, understand that, and make my own opinions and judgments. And this is not something that we learn in our education system. We largely rely on textbook. So to be able to learn, understand, and make and form your opinions, I think is very important for anybody who's entering the workforce or starting up with their careers. Second, I would say is leadership skills. We are not taught leadership skills anywhere through our course.
That is true.
What does leadership skill means is very, very different, but really very simple things to be able to take your own decisions. We are very protected in Indian families. There's always somebody who stands behind us and says, do this, do that, and we tend to depend on somebody.
Someone's guidance for us.
All the time. And this was something that I realized when I went to the US for the first time. When you're on your own and you have to make your own decisions, stand by those decisions, correct your decisions, learn to live with, okay, I have to manage, I have to write an exam also tomorrow, I have to cook something and fend myself also. I think these are things that time management, nobody teaches us very specifically, time management. How do you prioritize things? I have 10 things to do. Which one should get my attention? Which one should not get my attention? Very consciously learning these things. And today I think there are opportunities to learn these softer skills with the way digital education is available. And the third, since you said it specifically, my success, I think to develop your emotional quotient and empathy is very, very important, especially for all of you as a generation that is coming in, because you are so digitally connected. A lot of times I feel the emotional connect between people, and I tell this to my daughter all the time. I think you can talk on sending messages. When I say you, I don't mean you. I'm
No,
talking
it's okay.
now a generation in general. You can converse through messages, but when you're working together, there are problems. We see this a lot of times with the younger generation that comes in, to work. COVID didn't help for sure when everybody was disconnected. And this will come through connection by exposing yourself a lot more to different people, to different spaces. That's why I also encourage our younger generation to go spend time in the school. When you see different people, how they live, what are the problems that affect different people, I think your emotional quotient starts getting triggered and working a lot more. And I think that's very, very important for anybody entering the workforce.
How important do you think networking is in our careers, and how can students develop their own networks?
So one, I think it's very, very important in a professional, when you are going through a professional journey, I think professional networking is absolutely essential. And I'll be a little biased and say that it's even more important for women, because it doesn't come very naturally for women. It's a little bit of an effort to believe that you need to network, especially for women. And I'm telling from my personal experience, you don't really realize the importance. We don't go out of way to professionally network as women. So it's absolutely important. Why it's important? Simply because you're exposing yourself to different perspectives, to different ideas, to different ways of working, and you realize that your mind tends to be very closed. A lot of times you say, no, this is not possible, or I can't do it this way. only when you learn and meet people, you realize that how different companies are working, what are they looking at, what skills are they hiring, can I do something like that to build my skills. So yes, it's absolutely essential. How can students develop? I think there's a lot of opportunities available now to do it. Maybe sometimes in a smaller city like Mysore, the opportunities are slightly lesser, but to get out of the digital world and be at spaces where such programs are happening. Nothing stops students from attending. There's TIE as an organization in Mysore which does a lot of talks. CII does programs, simple programs like basics of GST. Nobody is stopping a student from attending and learning from there. This is where you meet people. This is where you understand how different. I listen to a lot of talks at Bangalore International Center where, so in larger cities, it's much more possible to attend events like this. Colleges can have book clubs. They can have interest clubs where you can actually ask somebody like from industry like us to come and talk and share experiences. We are very happy to talk. We are very happy to share. Just if students take the initiative to create these channels, I think it would be a good way to.
What is it like being a woman of power in a male-dominant society?
So, from my perspective, as I see it, Disha, I have never seen anything stop me from the perspective of being a male or a female. So, I have never seen that. It has never occurred to me that I can't do something. It's not been an advantage also. It's not been a disadvantage also that I'm a woman and I'm working in a manufacturing setup where there are lower representation of women. Do others see it differently? Definitely. I mean, I'll give you an example of a story just last week where we were going to visit a customer and somebody had written that I would be traveling with my MD to visit, and are you available? The mail that comes back to us immediately was he had written to somebody else saying that MD of so and so company is traveling, he would like to visit. So it is such a, nobody even imagined that it can be a woman. So the first instance is it's an MD, he is visiting, will you be able to take care of this? So does the world see it differently? Definitely yes. When I was younger, it used to annoy me. I will be very open and honest with you. I used to get agitated. One, the age is against you. Of course, I was not an MD, but even if you're in a position of taking decisions as a woman, there are people who look at it. There was one instance when somebody had asked me, can I talk to the person, can I talk to the decision maker? And I got angry. And there's no need to be angry, because if you are the decision maker, the person has no option but to look at you as the decision maker. So initially, I used to get angry and agitated. Over the years, I realized that there's no point wasting your energy on these things. You channelize it into what you want to do and what you want to develop. So from my perspective, it has not made a difference. But I haven't been stopped from traveling, whether it's in India or outside, whether it's traveling alone. Nothing has really pulled me back because it's
because of gender.
Because of gender, for sure. Yeah.
How do you balance work life and personal life? This is a question that is specific to women because children, family. So how do you do it, ma'am?
So to me, there is no balance. You have to, at every point, you have to take a decision. Today, one thing is important. Tomorrow, another thing is important. You brought up the question that it's important from a women's perspective, and I'm with you, because I think as women, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves that we have this concept of I'm a superwoman, I'm a super mom, so I want to do everything and I want to do, and we live with a lot of guilt. And I was absolutely no different. I would sob on days when I'm not able to attend my daughter's annual day or whatever, not be there for something. Does it really matter in the end? No, it's not that your child is going to love you any less because you were not there for. This is something that we put on ourselves. I'm not the best cook, or I'm not able to cook at home every day because I simply don't have the time to be able to do it. I can look at it as my shortfall. but it's not. I'm doing something else which is equally important and which is giving me satisfaction. So I think women need to come out of it at some stage and say, I'm not going to feel guilty. I will do everything that I am able to do, but I'm not going to feel guilty if I'm not able to do something. To do something. And that is what will bring, a certain amount of balance. Don't hesitate to ask help if you need to ask help. A lot of times, people, when I give a talk, somebody at once came and asked me, "You didn't thank your husband in the talk for letting you do this." I said, "What do you mean for letting me do this?" So don't hesitate. We are doing it together. This is what we have decided to do. So don't feel guilty if somebody is helping you to do it. Not saying don't do your bit. It's a joint venture that you're doing. But women put a lot of pressure on themselves, and I think this needs to slowly change.
Yes, ma'am. We've reached the end of today's interview, and thank you so much, Supriya ma'am, for being with me today. And I would like to say that your thoughts were very wonderful, and I would love to implement them in my life. And thank you for giving us the time of the day today.
My pleasure, Disha. I think I really enjoyed the chat with you. It brought back a lot of my memories of the past and to run through my journey. So thank you very much for having me and giving me this opportunity.
I'm honored, ma'am. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you for watching.